Hello everyone, welcome back to Kanto Housewife. Today we're gonna make some rainbow boba. The reason why I started this project is because Feed Mei, one of the foodie YouTubers I followed, made some cartoon inspired boba. And I was like, cool, I want to make this for my son. But how do you make color boba? So I did some research and I wanted to do an experiment on the color boba, including the food coloring ratio and the comparison of the color before and after cooking. Here is the ingredient list. This recipe will yield half a cup of boba, but if you prefer to make more, just double or triple the ingredients to get to your desired serving. I do have a science background, so I kind of made it like a science experiment. I will show you the ratio of food coloring and with the comparison of the boba before and after cooking toward the end of the video. So stay tuned. First, we're going to add the water and turn on the heat to high. When the water is boiled, we're going to turn off the heat and add all the tapioca powder. Keep mixing it until it's kind of like lumpy, and we're going to take it off the heat and put it in a bowl. I put the dough in a mixing bowl, but you can do the kneading on your kitchen counter, a pastry mat, or even your cutting board. In the beginning, it will look very lumpy, but don't worry, keep kneading it until it turns into a ball. Alright, it's time to add the food coloring. First, on a cutting board or your counter, add some tapioca starch and separate the dough into the amount of color you want to mix. In my case, I want to try making 7 colors along with white boba, so I separated it into 8 parts. I weighted all the doughs, and each of them is about 12 to 14 grams. After a couple of trial and errors, I figured that cling wrap will be your best friend when you are kneading the dough with food coloring. For the red dough, I added 3 drops of food coloring, and the dough is about 14 grams. I wore a glove when I was kneading this dough, and half of the dough ended up sticking to the glove and I can't get it evenly spread, so I ended up taking off the gloves. For the orange dough, I added 1.5 drop of the red coloring and 1.5 drop of the yellow coloring. I didn't wear gloves when I'm kneading this dough, and the food coloring, it's very hard to wash off. For the yellow dough, I added 4 drops of food coloring, and this time I used the cling wrap. As you can see, the dough is not sticking to the cling wrap and it's very easy to handle. After the food coloring is blended in, I use my hand and finished knotting the dough. For the green dough, I added 3 drops of food coloring into the dough. For the blue dough, I added 3 drops of blue food coloring in the dough. It came out a little bit darker than I thought it would, so maybe next time I'll try to add 2 instead of 3. For the indigo color, I added 5 drops of blue food coloring and 1 drop of red food coloring. You can skip this color if you just want to make a 6-color rainbow. Here is the comparison between the blue dough and the indigo dough. The purple dough, I added 1.5 drops of red food coloring and 1.5 drop of blue food coloring. It came out a little bit darker also, so maybe I'll try to add 1 drop of red and 1 drop of blue food coloring next time. You don't have to make this white dough if you're trying to make rainbow boba. I just did it for my experiment. Alright, so here is all the colored dough before it's cooked, and I'll show you the comparison of the before and after. Alright, let's roll them into tiny boba pearls. So I made all the dough into little snakes and I cut it into little pieces. Afterward, I rolled those little pieces into balls. This process took me about 25 minutes. The boba pearl will expand after being cooked, so make sure you make the pearl about 2/3 of the size of your boba straws. When you're done, put some tapioca starch in a bowl and coat each pearl with the starch. This will prevent them from sticking together. Afterward, put the boba through a sieve so it will remove all the extra powder. To ensure I didn't mix up the indigo color with the blue and purple, I have a separate pot for it. But boil all the pearls for 20 minutes. When it's done, we're gonna put it in some drinking water, rinse it, and drain it. While you're boiling the pearls, we're going to make some simple syrup. We're going to add a 1-to-1 ratio of water to sugar. In this recipe, we're going to ask for 1/3 cup of simple syrup, so you'll need 1/3 cup of hot water with 1/3 cup of sugar. I made extra syrup just because I use it for my iced coffee and tea, but you don't have to. After we rinse the boba with some drinking water, we're going to filter it out and put it in a cup or bowl. Pour the simple syrup in until it's fully covered the bobas. I like to soak my boba in the simple syrup for at least 30 minutes so it will absorb the sugar, but you can use it right away if you want. Here is the final product. I have to say this is so much better than the manufactured boba. It's more tender and still great and chewy, and they're not hard on the inside. As promised, I made a chart on the rainbow boba with the food coloring ratio and the comparison of color and size before and after cooking. Note that the indigo color turned out to be more like black and the purple is a little bit dark like a blue. The one that surprised me the most is the white boba. End up the white turned into more like a clear color. Maybe I'll add some white food coloring for trial next time if I want to make something that have a white face. Alright, this concludes our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out other content. As always, have a bobalicious day!